Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are sitting here in the sky floor of the MCI Management Center Innsbruck. You unfortunately cannot see the beautiful landscape out there, mountains covered with snow, but you can see my guest. And I have a distinguished guest here with me today. It's the ambassador of the State of Israel and the permanent representative of the United Nations organizations in Vienna, Ambassador Excellency Talya Lador-Fresher. Welcome to the MCI. We are very happy to have you with us.
Thank you. It is wonderful to see all these wonderful mountains that are covered with snow, and it is wonderful to see you again.
Thank you for being here. We are having some minutes together to discuss or to ask you some questions, and we very much are grateful for accepting our invitation. Now, Israel is celebrating its 70th anniversary this year. And what would you think is the biggest achievements or the ones you are the most proud of?
So there is a lot to be proud of, because whatever achievements we have achieved, we've achieved against all odds, and that is the geopolitical situation in our area. I think for me personally, I would note two aspects where I'm extremely proud. One is the cultural achievements of the State of Israel. Israel is really a literal powerhouse with wonderful authors that many of them have been translated also into German. And I know that many of them have been read also in Austria by many people. Modern dance and the film industry. So on the one hand, we are very proud of our cultural achievements, because at the end of the day, an old Chinese proverb says that you need two things in order to live. One is bread, of course, and I will touch upon that in a minute. And another is flour, that you have something to live for. So the flour is the cultural achievements of Israel, and the bread are the economic achievements of Israel. And certainly when we talk today about the economic achievements of Israel, we speak a lot about our technology. The fact that there are 5,000 startup companies that are working in Israel. The fact that from the 10 largest worldwide companies, the strongest companies, of those 10, only 2 do not have a research and development center in Israel. The fact that we are called, and rightly so, Silicon Wadi, you know, in contrast to Silicon Valley, of course, in California. All this makes us extremely proud of our achievements.
And if you're now looking into the future, what kind of topics would you address, especially now, based on the achievements you have been mentioning?
Okay, for the country as a country, I wish we will continue, of course, in this direction economically. I think for a country as a country, we would like, we have done a lot in terms of the Israeli society. In the Israeli society, we have the society at large, of course, but also there are the ultra-Orthodox that are part of our society, and 20% of the Israeli population is Muslim. They are Arabs, but they are citizens with all the rights of citizens. Of course, they can vote to the Knesset, etc. And we want to make sure that those segments of the society will be fully integrated within the society. Plus, I think for me and for many other Israelis, we would like to see the gap between the rich and the poor. You know, Israel started as a very socialist country. We are not there anymore, and we all, I think, understand that some of the wonderful theories of communism and socialism do not work. We are not there. We are, at the end of the day, we are human beings. So even the kibbutzim movement that in the past was something that everybody was looked at Israel, even the kibbutzim in Israel today are not the ones that, as they used to be in the past. But still, I think within our society, we do want to see that the gap between those who have and those who have not is not too great. So this is my wish for the next 70 years.
Now, we've been talking about the State of Israel and its achievements and also some future aspects. But now Israel has always been in, let's say, difficult situations with respect to its position in the Middle East. Would you want to comment on that? Now, what are the most critical or also challenging topics to address?
Yes. So I would say there are three fronts that we are confronted with. One is, of course, our relations with the Palestinians. After the Oslo Accord, there was this notion, both in Israel and elsewhere in the world, that we are going to find in the nearest future, or relatively in the near future, a solution that is based on two states, two peoples solution. It has not happened. If the Palestinians would really have wanted it, it would have happened. Unfortunately, apparently, the problem of the Palestinian is not where exactly the border between a future Palestinian state and the state of Israel is, or what sort of a future Palestinian state will be. This is not the main concern. The main concern is the fact that they are not willing to accept the fact that there is a Jewish state, the state of Israel, where we are, where we currently are, again, regardless of exactly where the border will be.
May I just
sure, of course.
Would the door still be open for a two-state solution, or do you think that's closed by now?
I think we are all hoping for some sort of creative idea. A creative idea can and probably will be as part of it will be the division of the land, yes. But the question is exactly which way will we go, which way will we not go. And again, when we talk about creative ideas, there are so many possibilities to go, but I'm afraid that at the moment the gap is too large. So if you ask me, do you see a peace agreement between Israel and the Palestinians in the next 5 years? I don't see, but in the next 50 years, of course I see it. We have to be optimistic about this notion, because otherwise it's an awful future that awaits all of us. Our president always say it's not the conflict between the Israeli and the Palestinians, it's the tragedy between our two peoples. So this is one, but also the acceptance of Israel in the region. We have peace agreements with Jordan, with Egypt. They're not perfect peace agreements, but they are there. We are very concerned about the situation in Syria, what will happen as the civil war there winds down, and what sort of Syria will we see coming out. The presence of Iran is something that is very much worrying to Israeli eyes. So there are a lot of worries on the one hand, but there are also possibilities on the other hand. The fact that the Prime Minister visited Oman openly not so long ago, of course, was something that Israelis are yearning for, and that is acceptance not only of us with the Palestinians, but also of us as part of the region. And we think, we know that we have so much to give, to share with our neighbors.
Now, leaving the Middle East and coming to the relationship between Israel and Austria, now you will be leaving Austria as an ambassador shortly. What would you say is now the present relationship between the two countries?
It's a bit of a paradox, because on the one hand we don't have relations with the junior party, official relations with the junior party of the coalition, that is the FPO. So that is on the one hand. On the other hand, I can say that the relations are probably at one of the highest peaks ever. If you look at statistic of tourism on both sides, trade on both sides, support for Israeli security concerns by the Austrian government, we see quite a lot. A few months ago, the Chancellor visited Israel. Next month, the President will come for a state visit to Israel. So all in all, we see a deepening of the relations with this paradox that is happening.
Now, you are now on academic grounds, on university grounds. Now, what would you wish for if looking at the relationship between Israel, the state of Israel, or Israeli institutions, and the Austrian academic sector? In other words, what for, or to be precise, what would you ask for if you could raise a wish to the MCI to do with respect to Israel?
So first of all, as part of our what we wanted to achieve during my time term as an ambassador was also quite a lot was focused on the younger generation. So we have a wonderful agreement that we have achieved, and that is called Working Holiday Agreement, under which Israelis and Austrian between 18 to 30, whether students or not, can come and visit each other country and can work there. And it is a very easy visa to get. So I would like to see many Austrians utilizing this opportunity and coming just to see us. We also would like to see many students, many Austrian students come, and students of MCI, of course, European students, come and see Israel with their own eyes, because I think many times the image of Israel in the media is not as Israel as you experience when you really come and visit us. Also, when I go from this student body to the university level, academic level, in the past year, 2 agreements were signed between Israel and Austria regarding cooperation on the field of academia, and we would like to see more impetus in that field, and to see really common projects by Austrians and by Israelis, with MCI, of course, as part of the Austrian academic institutions.
Now, the MCI has been picking up on these ideas quite early, and we are really proud and happy to work together with a number of Israeli academic institutions. But now, when going home to Israel, what would you miss the most when leaving Austria now?
I will miss a lot. First and foremost, I will miss my residence, because I live in a beautiful house. And I love my house. And I became, I never studied architecture, but I became quite an expert about laws his time in my house. I'm probably the biggest expert about the laws. It's called the Villa House Moller, which is my house. I will miss the fact that really I felt that many doors are open for me as the ambassador of the State of Israel. There's quite a lot that is that can be done. There was a lot of initiatives that we have, that other had, and that we could have worked together. So in this respect, and you saw that, and it's a wonderful feeling when you can really feel that you can conquer the world from the position of an ambassador. And last but not least, I will miss my cobras that are here with me.
So, finishing with a compliment to the security people here. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure having you here on campus. All the best for your next steps. Also, all the best for your now moving to Israel again. And thanks for what you have been doing for the Austro-Israeli relationship.
Thank you very much. Thank you.